All right, let's talk about modern olive pruning. We're going to explore a really big shift in thinking here. It's all about moving away from pure geometry and focusing more on the plant's own physiology. Let's get right into it.
I mean, this is what it's all about, right? A beautiful, healthy, and, most importantly, a highly efficient olive grove. Every single decision a grower makes, from how they feed the trees to how they prune them, it's all aimed at hitting this perfect balance. But how we get here? Well, that's where the debate starts.
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter. For decades, the focus was all about getting this perfect, predetermined shape. But does that picture-perfect tree actually translate to economic and physiological efficiency out in the real world? Or is there a better way to think about it?
Okay, before we go any further, let's just quickly set the stage. We are looking at mature olive trees, well into their production phase. And, critically, any pruning we're talking about happens during vegetative rest. Now, this is so important because the plant has all its energy stored up. Pruning now means it can channel that power directly into making fruiting wood for the coming season, instead of wasting it trying to heal cuts during its active growth period.
So to really understand where we're going, we first have to know where we've been. Let's start with the long-established standard, especially in Italian olive growing, the polyconic vase. The Vaso policonico is a system that's all about order and method. Its entire structure, with these multiple main branches forming distinct cones, is designed for one primary goal: to let sunlight get deep into the canopy. And, you gotta admit, it's very effective at that. Now this is where it gets really interesting. The whole system boils down to one word: control. Those distinct cones are maintained with very precise return cuts to manage growth. But all that geometric perfection comes at a cost. It demands highly specialized operators who can perfectly read the plant, and that means a lot of time and money. Plus, if those cuts aren't just right, the tree can react by pushing out a ton of suckers, making your job even harder later on.
All this complexity and cost has led a lot of people to question the traditional way of doing things. And that's really marked a turning point in how we think about managing the canopy. Let's see how this new thinking has developed.
And here it is, the question that really shakes things up. Is a tree that looks perfect in a textbook also the most profitable and efficient one to manage in the real world? The answer, more and more, seems to be a clear no. This quote from agronomist Vito Vitelli just nails the new philosophy. The focus totally shifts from controlling the tree's shape to helping it do its natural job. So the crucial point becomes, how quickly can we help the tree build a canopy that's just soaking up light and producing fruit? This really makes the new goal crystal clear. Instead of forcing the tree into some rigid, man-made box, the idea is to work with its natural tendencies. We want to help it fill its space as quickly as it can. That gets you into production earlier, and in the end, you have a much more efficient orchard.
So let's put these two philosophies side by side. We'll compare the traditional Vaso policonico with a more modern approach, often called the Vaso libero Zaragoza or the Zaragoza free vase.
First off, the core philosophy. The polyconic vase is all about imposing a form, a specific geometry. The Zaragoza free vase is all about function, respecting the tree's physiology to build that productive volume as fast as possible. Next up, labor. The polyconic system, you could almost call it an art form. It really requires artisans. The free vase is more of a science of efficiency, designed around simple, repeatable cuts that can be done quickly by a less specialized crew. And that, of course, translates directly to your bank account. Specialized labor is expensive. A simplified system means lower labor costs, and that is a massive factor in being competitive in today's olive industry. Finally, let's talk about just being practical. In a lot of mature polyconic orchards, the fruit production keeps creeping higher, forcing workers up onto ladders. The free vase aims to keep that productive wall right at human height, where it's accessible from the ground. This isn't just about speed, it's about safety and efficiency for both pruning and harvesting. And here's what it looks like out in the field. This is a great example of the Zaragoza free vase. Just notice how the structure is more natural, it's less rigid. The focus isn't on creating these distinct cones, but on maintaining an open, accessible, productive wall that's just bathed in sunlight. This is what physiology in action looks like. Now, it's really important to understand that this pruning philosophy isn't just some standalone technique. It's part of a much bigger, holistic vision of orchard management where every single piece is connected. Think of it this way. A canopy designed to catch the most light possible is basically a more efficient engine. More light means more photosynthesis. More photosynthesis means the plant produces more energy, which directly fuels its nutritional status and supports everything from flowering and fruit set to storing up reserves for next year.
And there's also a direct link to the plant's own defense system. An open, well-aerated canopy like you see here is going to dry out much faster after rain or dew. That lowers the humidity inside the canopy, which creates an environment that's way less friendly to fungal pathogens. It's a key part of an integrated defense strategy, using the tree's own architecture as a preventative tool.
So ultimately, what this all means is that in today's economic climate, the systems that are the most competitive are the ones that are simpler, faster, and more adaptable. It's about getting high productivity while aggressively managing the single biggest cost in olive growing, which is labor.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. You know, changing how we physically prune a tree is a technical challenge. But the bigger challenge, often, is changing how we think about pruning. Before we ever pick up the shears, maybe the most important cut we can make is to our own preconceived ideas.